Jasmine Crockett was on MS Now this morning, and you gotta hear the absolute lunacy that came out of this low IQ buffoon's mouth. She was brought on to talk about the shadow hearings on immigration in LA. Basically, the Democrats, they had like a behind closed doors meeting to discuss how they're going to use the ICE raids and deportations against the Republicans in the midterms. And they brought her on to talk about it, and she absolutely crashed out on live television. I have 3 clips that I want to share with you guys purely for your entertainment on this given Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look.
If that's the case, let's talk about the white supremacists and how many of them need to be kicked out of this country, because I can guarantee you I can track down more crimes that they've committed, because overall immigrants have a lower crime committal rate than white supremacists, but we don't want to talk about that in this country.
I mean,
just can't even get the words out. That right there is the face of a very low IQ individual, ladies and gentlemen. And what the hell is she talking about? She knows damn well that she's talking straight out of her butt and has nothing to back up what she just said, because there is nothing to back up what she said. There's no statistic, there's no study. The FBI doesn't even track white supremacist crime. Like, white supremacists aren't even a demographic that is tracked by anybody, because their numbers are so negligible. Like, the actual violent crimes that can be labeled as hate crimes committed by white supremacists is like 20 a year or something like that. It's so negligible. But all the data and all the studies show that illegal immigrants commit a higher rate of violent crime, sexual assault, etc. than the general population, let alone white supremacists. It's absolutely ridiculous that she would even say that, but you got to remember who we're dealing with here.
But obviously, in Trump's America, this is exactly what he wants. And the idea that one person can get out of line and commit such a horrific crime as shooting 2 of our National Guardsmen, 2 National Guardsmen that never, ever asked to be here.
Wait, you mean the National Guardsmen that volunteered to be there? They didn't want to be there? Is that what you're trying to say? Okay.
In fact, we know the young lady that lost her life, specifically, we're saying that this is a waste of time.
Nope, she never said that. There's absolutely no record of her saying that whatsoever. She never said it was a waste of time, so that is another outright lie. And basically what she's trying to do here is she's trying to create the narrative that Trump is overreaching, he's overreacting to the incident that happened last week. He's taking one bad apple, one bad egg out of the bunch and using a broad brush to paint it all over, an entire demographic of people, and trying to downplay the incident that happened last week as a single isolated incident that really shouldn't be a cause of concern to Americans. We shouldn't be reacting this way and trying to deport and removing protective statuses from various countries and deporting these people, because that's an overreach, that's an overreaction. That's what she's trying to peddle on the fake news media, and doing a terrible, terrible job of it. And I don't know why they keep bringing this chick out to the media when she is clearly incapable and not mentally competent to peddle their narrative. They should be hiding her in a closet somewhere, not putting her out in front of the fake news media. Now, believe it or not, she actually gets even more unhinged in this next clip, where she compares Trump and MAGA to Nazis. Check it out.
People during the election, whether it was trans folk or whether it was the immigrant, he dehumanized. And if you study anything about the Nazis, that is where it all starts, is the dehumanization. And none of us should be sitting by, even if we're not trans, even if we're not an immigrant. You have to understand that the dehumanization will come in for black folk. It will come in for women. It will come in for everyone. And that is why we unfortunately got here.
So a bunch of fear mongering to the black folk and the women and everybody out there. If you stand idly by and let this happen, it's going to happen to you next. How about this? Here's a rebuttal. How about the fact that when you call Trump and MAGA Nazis, that's a form of dehumanization, and that type of rhetoric is responsible for the attacks on ICE, for the death of Charlie Kirk, for the assassination attempt on Trump, for the Summer of Love. Your rhetoric dehumanizing the right by calling us Nazis, bigots, transphobes, racists, that has resulted in absolute mayhem across the country. So again, we have another instance of the left accusing us of exactly what they're doing. Now, I've got a third clip for you guys where she actually doubles down and digs herself an even deeper hole, where she defends her accusing Lee Zeldin of taking money from Jeffrey Epstein, and turned out he took money from a doctor that happened to share the same name. You remember that massive blunder that she made earlier this month, and it got so bad that the doctor actually sent money to her campaign so that everybody could say that Jasmine Crockett also took money from Jeffrey Epstein. It was like an epic troll job. Well, she's still out here defending the fact that she said that, even though it has been objectively proven that she was wrong and made a completely fatal error. But no surprise, she's too stupid to admit that she's wrong and instead doubles down and digs her hole even deeper.
Congresswoman, it wouldn't be a conversation with us if I didn't quickly put you on the spot on something. You made a little bit of news last week when you mistakenly accused Lee Zeldin and other Republicans.
I didn't mistakenly.
Look how quickly she gets defensive. She knows exactly where this is going, and she's already on the defensive.
Money from Jeffrey Epstein, but it was a different Jeffrey Epstein, according to the financial records.
It's like she's adjusting her earpiece because she's got to get her talking points from the DNC on how to respond to this.
I don't want to give you the opportunity to amend that. And
I have no amendments. When I was on the floor, for those that don't know how it works, basically they decided to bring this privilege motion up. And they decided that they wanted to kick Stacey off of her committees because Stacey had received Stacey Plaskett because she had received a donation from Jeffrey Epstein. I had maybe 20 minutes. We researched the FEC, and because I like to speak with specificity, that's kind of what comes with being an attorney. I made clear that there was a Jeffrey Epstein. They knew on the other side that I did not have time to actually pull up and actually research, especially since that particular one that Lee Zeldin got up in an uproar about was specifically out of the New York area. We know that he was out of that area. So, and this obviously was not done post Jeffrey Epstein's life. So I made sure that I said a Jeffrey Epstein.
But you were trying to insinuate that it was the
I absolutely was insinuating that it could be possible. That is true. But the point is, I never said that it was that specific one because I did not have the adequate time to do it. And so the Jeffrey Epstein has stepped forward, and that's not like, a normal name. And I think that what would have been problematic is if I would have claimed that, say, that happened and it legitimately never happened. So
It did never happen. You just admitted it. It never happened. He never took money from the Jeffrey Epstein. Notice how terrible of a defense this is. And this woman is supposed to be an attorney. She said that, as an attorney, I speak with specificity, but I was completely wrong because I didn't have enough time to do my homework and do my research. But I went on the House floor and completely tried to destroy the credibility of a Republican based off of shoddy information that I didn't have time to research. This is absolutely embarrassing, and she continues to double down no matter how stupid she looks. It's unbelievable.
So ultimately, he cleared the record. I have not researched further. I've not talked to this doctor.
But you can agree that Lee Zeldin didn't receive money.
I can agree that Lee Zeldin has said that he's not received money from the Jeffrey Epstein.
Still trying to insinuate that Lee Zeldin took money from the Jeffrey Epstein because she just can't admit that she's wrong. Unbelievable. This chick is just otherworldly. I mean, they really should just be hiding her away. They should not be bringing her out into public, speaking to the media. They need to keep her quiet in a closet. It is unbelievable how stupid she is. I mean, I don't have a very high IQ. I probably have like 105, like slightly above average, but barely. It's at least triple digits, I would imagine. She is barely brushing double digits. This woman is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. So I wanted to bring this to you purely for your entertainment once again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, like the video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.